You know that dream so many of us have? To just break free from the 9 to 5 and build something that's actually ours? Well, that amazing dream comes with a really big, really important first choice. It's a choice every single entrepreneur has to make, and honestly, it can shape everything that comes after.
Meet Sayed. He's feeling stuck, tired of the same old thing day in and day out. And that feeling, it's pretty universal, isn't it? That itch to quit the grind and just create something for yourself. This is the exact moment where thousands of new businesses get their start. Every single day.
For Sayed, and for anyone thinking like him, that dream crashes into reality really fast. It's not about if you should do it, it's about how. And the very first, most critical question you've got to answer is, what kind of company am I actually building? Because that answer, well, it changes everything.
Okay, I know it can seem like you're staring at a huge, confusing map of acronyms and legal jargon, but really, it all boils down to two main paths. And the one thing that decides which path you take? It all comes down to a single, powerful word: risk. Specifically, your personal financial risk.
So this is the big trade-off right here. On one side, you've got companies of persons. Super simple, really fast to set up. But, and this is a huge but, there is no wall between you and the business. If the company gets into debt, you are in debt. We're talking your personal savings, your car, maybe even your home. On the other side, you have companies of capital. Now, these are a bit more work to set up, but they create a separate legal person. It's like building a financial fortress around your personal life.
And that fortress brings us to probably the most important term in this whole explainer: limited liability. This is the legal shield we were talking about. It means that if the business has debts, your personal responsibility stops at whatever you invested. So if things go south, you might lose what you put in, but you won't lose your house. And understanding this isn't just some boring legal detail. It is the bedrock of your financial safety as an entrepreneur.
All right, so let's make this super practical. Let's say our entrepreneur, Sayed, decides to start his business in Egypt. What are his actual options? What's he looking at on the ground?
Okay, so these are the main choices in Egypt. At one end, you've got the sole proprietorship. It's simple, no upfront capital needed. But again, you're totally on the hook, personally. At the other extreme is the joint stock company, which is really for massive projects. The sweet spot for most startups is right here in the middle. You've got your classic LLC for when you have partners, and then there's this really powerful option, the one-person company, which finally gives a solo founder that all-important liability protection.
This number right here, 50,000 Egyptian pounds. That's the key that unlocks limited liability for a solo founder in Egypt. It is a total game changer. Why? Because it means for the first time, a founder like Sayed doesn't have to pick between having full control and being financially safe. With this, he can have both. So that's the picture in Egypt. But what if Sayed was thinking about setting up shop in Saudi Arabia instead? Well, the basic ideas about risk are exactly the same, but the legal tools you get to use are just a little bit different. The setup in Saudi Arabia looks pretty similar at first glance, right? You've got the sole proprietorship and the big joint stock company. But look closely, because there are two really interesting differences for startups. First, for an LLC, there's no set minimum capital. It just has to be sufficient for whatever you're doing. And second, you've got this fascinating new kid on the block, the simplified joint stock company.
So what on earth does simplified actually mean for a founder? Well, think of it this way. You get the same powerful liability protection of a major corporation, but without all the bureaucratic headaches. The rules for managing it are way easier. It's built to be flexible for startups that are growing fast, and it really shows how the system is changing to help new businesses get off the ground.
Okay, deep breath. You've thought about the risks. You've picked your company type. Now what? How do you take this idea from a dream or a sketch on a napkin and turn it into a real legal company? Let's walk through the steps. At its heart, the process breaks down into about 4 main steps. First, you lock in your choice of company type and pick a unique name. Second, you draft the company's rule book. It's called the Articles of Association. Third, if it's required for your company type, you deposit that starting capital into a bank account. And finally, the big one. You make it official by registering with the commercial registry, the tax people, and any other government offices.
Now, I need you to listen very carefully, because this part right here is absolutely critical. While those steps sound simple, the details can trip you up badly. The sources are crystal clear on this. This is not a DIY project. You need to talk to a specialized lawyer. They're the ones who'll make sure every I is dotted, every form is right, and that your brand new company is built on solid legal ground. Please do not skip this step.
So, after all of that, what's the one big idea you need to walk away with? As you start on this path, what's the main takeaway from Syed's whole journey of discovery?
It's this. Choosing your legal structure is not just some boring, bureaucratic box you have to check. It is the very first, most important block you will lay. It's the foundation for your entire business. Get it right, and it will support future growth and protect you from risk. But get it wrong, and the whole thing could be unstable from the start.
So, you have the map now. You understand the big choice between personal risk and protection. You've seen what the options look like in a couple of key markets. That path, from a dream to a legally registered company, it's clear. The only question left is the one Syed is probably asking himself right now. Are you ready to pick up that first stone and start building?